Prince Ogun took the name Ewuare, which means trouble has ceased. Later, he added Ogidigang to his name, meaning the great. But this wasn't just a name given to the new Oba. He truly lived up to being one of the greatest rulers the Benin Empire had ever seen. There is a story about his titular name, Eware, which Ogun chose to be known by when he was crowned the Oba of the Kingdom of Benin. You see, Benin Obas are not known by their pre-coronation names. Instead, they choose their coronation name in their youth. This story in the life of Prince Ogun took place during the period of his wandering days, the time when he escaped from the clutches of his evil brother, Oba Uwaifyokun. In the months before he went to wage war against his brother, he was filled with frustration and anger because he had lost everything: his wife, his kingdom, and his freedom. He traveled from forest to forest, never staying in one place and avoiding human interaction, until one day Prince Ogun arrived at Kiagbodo, a village on the outskirts of Benin. He soon discovered the villagers were terrorized by a jungle spirit that ravaged their farms at night. The villagers had a chief and his son. Strangely, the chief's farm remained untouched, fueling suspicion. Realizing that the villagers were being suspicious of them, the chief and his son claimed that they had a magical charm that protected their land. They offered to extend this protection to others, but only if they sold their land at a pittance. Many villagers, desperate and powerless, complied. Those who refused faced the beast's wrath night after night. One night, Prince Ogun, staying at the chief's farm, witnessed a horrifying sight. He saw the sun transform into the very beast that was terrorizing the village. The prince, who was still recovering from his brother's betrayal, watched the monstrous beast tear through the cassava fields, but he did nothing, choosing to remain out of sight. Despite knowing the chief and his son's secret, Prince Ogun remained silent. One day, camped beside a yam field, Prince Ogun watched a farmer and his young son work in unison. The boy, with sweat dripping from his brow, was carrying bundles of split canes to his father. Noticing the prince perched regally on his horse, the humble farmer offered him a share of their simple meal. The farmer was a kind and hardworking man. He and his son had been working all day and also needed the company. After they had finished their lunch, Prince Ogun heard the farmer call out his little son, Eware, and the little boy scurried back with more split bundled canes. Prince Ogun liked both the sound and the meaning of the name. It suggested to the suffering prince that his present circumstances would change for the better. Prince Ogun took that as a sign to stay on the farm, so he helped the farmer and his son. Days turned into weeks, and Prince Ogun found himself settling into the simple, honest life. He grew fond he grew fond of young Eware. Though the young boy had a mischievous spirit to him, but he was also a selfless and courageous boy. He reminded the prince of his younger self. The prince took the young boy under his wing. He made him a spear and taught him how to fight and hunt like a Benin warrior. They became very good friends, and Prince Ogun found peace amidst the turmoil he had left behind in Benin Kingdom. One hot afternoon, the village chief and his son swaggered onto the farmer's land, casting long shadows like vultures searching for corpses. The farmer, who was tired after a long day of work under the harsh sun, straightened himself to greet them. Greetings, chief, he said. What brings you to my humble fields? The chief's son, who sneered in greeting, spoke first. We bring news, he said, of a terrible beast lurking in the night, preying on our farms. The farmer's heart clenched. Whispers of the beast had already reached his ears. What can we do? He asked. The chief's belly jiggled as he leaned forward. We have a solution, he said, his voice as smooth as oil. In exchange for a small parcel of your land, we can offer you protection. Our magic charm will keep the beast at bay, ensuring your fields remain untouched. The farmer's face paled. He had barely enough land to feed his young son and himself. This land is all I have, the son scoffed. Baba, doesn't the beast have a taste for yam crops? The corrupt chief chuckled. Yes, it does, my son. It would be a pity if something unfortunate were to befall yours. The veiled threat hung heavy in the air. Farmer's hands trembled, but defiance flickered in his eyes. I will not be bullied, he said. This land is my livelihood, and I will not part with it. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the farmhouse. It was Prince Ogun. His face hardened with anger. He had overheard the exchange. Before he could react, the farmer placed a restraining hand on his arm. No, my friend, he whispered. Violence will only make things worse. Prince Ogun glared at the chief and his son. Their smug expressions infuriated him. With a final glare, the chief and his son turned and left. You will regret this, farmer, the chief snarled. Mark my words, the beast will claim what you refuse to offer. That night, Prince Ogun woke up to hear the terrifying rage of the angry beast. It was attacking their farm. Quickly, he drew out his machete and jumped on the back of the beast, desperately trying to dig the sword into the back of the beast. But the beast grabbed the prince and threw him on the ground. As the beast attacked the prince with its long talons, the prince moved quickly, dodging every attack, until the beast grew mad with rage. It moved as if to strike the prince, and when the prince moved to dodge the attack, the sly beast grabbed the prince with its other hand and hit him to the ground again, badly hurting Prince Ogun. Out of nowhere, the courageous Ewuare picked up his spear, and with the moves he had learned, he ran to attack the beast. But he was no match for the beast. The beast grabbed young Ewuare and slammed him as well on the ground. The hit was too heavy for the little boy, so it instantly killed him. The farmer screamed as he saw the light from his son's eyes leave. Prince Ogun looked in disbelief. His young friend had given up his life for him. Immediately, he charged towards the beast with one goal in mind: to kill him. When he was near the beast, he picked up the little boy's spear, and with all his might, he drove it deep within the beast's heart, pulled it out, and drove it in once more. This time, he pierced the beast's stomach. He twisted the spear deep inside the belly of the beast, spilling the guts of the wicked beast. The beast roared in disbelief, then dropped dead. By this time, many villagers had gathered to see the terrifying sight of the beast. The farmer was in tears, held his son's lifeless body, and wept profusely. It was a sad sight. When the villagers looked at the body of the beast, and they could not believe what they were looking at, it was the body of the chief's son who now lay in its place. Some of the villagers rushed to drag the chief out of his house. Billy confessed, told the villagers how he and his son were driven by greed. One night, they had struck a deal with Eshun, god of mischief. They wanted power and control. So Eshun turned his son into this beast that ravaged the people's land. Immediately, he was branded with the marks of the evildoer, then was banished from the village and warned never to return. With the village now safe, the villagers wanted to thank Prince Ogun, but they offered him many gifts, but he refused. Be honored to take the name Ewuare, he said. It means trouble has ceased, and it is a great way to honor my young friend who died to save this village. The farmer and the villagers were touched by such a humble request, so they all nodded in agreement. With the new spirit of Ewuare inside him, he set out to Ubinu to wage war against his brother and liberate his wife and the people of Benin from the usurper.